This story is entitled The Edge of All by Andy Rutrough. Jonathan trained all four of his eyes on the screens above him. Marlowe twisted a third tentacle in one of the ship's control sleeves. The scene shifted. "No," Jonathan muttered, turning indigo blue with curiosity. "No, not yet." Marlowe shifted the scene again. "There," she pointed her second tentacle at a flickering in the gray. "You're right." Jonathan shifted from indigo to orange in excitement. Another shockwave in the water itself. The first shockwave had brought destruction back home. Centuries-old temples covered in gold had crumbled. Earthquakes had rocked Petra, the one solid center in the universe of water. Further shockwaves had drawn riots of apocalypse into the streets. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Petra Council had sent someone out in the open water to investigate. They sent Jonathan and Marlowe in a hastily refitted speed ship. "These waves could mean there is an edge to the universe after all," Marlowe said. Jonathan shook his head. "Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof." Marlowe did not answer. Jonathan knew she doubted the sacred doctrine, repeated now for 3 millennia by monks and commoners alike, and carved in ancient statues everywhere, that the universe of water stretched from Petra out in all directions without change forever, leaving Petra, its tentacled inhabitants, and its vast environments of caves alone at the center of everything. But Marlowe would not repeat such heresy too loudly. "Shockwaves approaching," she said. "Brace for impact." Jonathan wrapped his 5 tentacles around his sitting station. He managed to line out a warning back to Petra. Bigger wave, speed 15,000 miles a second. Then it hit. The ship spun end over end, but Marlowe kept one tentacle in the navigation sleeve and managed to stabilize. "Where are we?" Jonathan asked, eyes spinning. "Not far off." "That was dangerous. We should go back, settle in one of the caves on Petra." Marlowe turned green with disapproval. "No, we need to go on. We still don't know what this is." Jonathan blew a long sigh, glanced at system diagnostics, and went yellow with surprise. "Not much damage." He flipped a tentacle forward. "Let's go." Marlowe edged them forward. "I can see it now." "Yes." Marlowe flipped the view again. Far ahead they saw a shift in color. The constant gray of water fuzzed into a slightly darker curve. "What is that?" Marlowe asked. Jonathan's voice sounded hollow. "It's an inconsistency in the water." "Which means we were wrong. The universe is not the same in all directions after all." Jonathan did not look at Marlowe's pink glow of pleasure. Moderating the pink with a touch of practical brown, she leaned forward. "The curve is broken here and here." She stretched a tentacle toward 2 faint gaps. "And it's giving way in 5 more places. Now, brace again." Jonathan sent a signal. More waves, bigger, just before the ship twisted around. This time the lights went out. The navigation came offline. Shielding gel congealed around them, protecting them from the worst of the shock. With one of his eyes, Jonathan saw the screens. The bulge in the universe was giving way. Water from somewhere else was seeping through the gap into their universe. The gap was growing wider. "Marlowe," he murmured, "could you please set the observation at 2/3 distance?" Marlowe shifted a control. The scene panned backward. Now they could see a long, broad outline, distorted. "Compensate for distortion, please." She did. "Oh my God," she whispered, red with awe. The immense edge of a sphere had imposed itself into the water. "Another universe has touched us," Jonathan said. "No," Marlowe said, "not touched. Collided." Jonathan saw the curve of the sphere coming apart and moving closer, very slowly. "You're right. It will take a lifetime, maybe more, but it's melding with us." Jonathan glanced away, and another shape caught his eye. "Marlowe," he said, his voice shaking, "could you please set the distance to infinite?" "That just blurs the view, Jonathan. Every beginner tries that, and they don't see anything." "Try it from here." She did. Now 1,000 spheres appeared, some close, some unutterably far away. "Oh," she said, and then, "they're moving." Where? Jonathan asked. Toward something big, 1 trillion times bigger than Petra. Jonathan looked back at the immense curve of a sphere dissipating into their own. No great shockwaves now, just slow jostling of water. So we have collided with another universe? Yes. And there are thousands more. Millions. And they're all moving in one direction. Yes, very fast, toward something very, very big. Oh, the priests will love this. We in our great universe of water, infinite around, have collided with another, only 2 tiny specks among 1,000,000 more, hurtling toward some immense unknown thing. How long till we get there? A long time, at least twice the age of Petra. Well, that's a relief then. Jonathan stared at the screens for a moment, then turned around. Any more shock waves? I don't think so. The edge between us and the other universe has collapsed. All right then, I suppose we'd better get things fixed. There's only so much power left, and it's a long way home. Very well, Marlowe said, turning pink again as she refocused the ship's main functions from observation to repair. Outside, 100 million other raindrops fell along with theirs, over eons and eons of time in Petra life, until at last they hit the soft earth.